Hello YouTube. Welcome to my channel. This is a tier list on VGC Pokemon for Series 10. Series 10 being the relatively new series where Dynamaxing is not allowed. So, in this video we'll be going over every single legendary Pokemon. Some of these of which are unobtainable. So every Pokemon that currently exists. That is either legal or illegal. I'll be putting it in the tiers that they fit into. So, Arceus or Arceus is illegal. Ignore that. But if I did have to place it, it would be fairly high. 120 every stat is nothing to scoff at. You can run basically any stat on it, and it will be pretty scary, but most people would run E-Speed, obviously. Next we have Articuno. This is Cantonian Articuno. I'm going to put it in D tier. Pretty self-explanatory. Trash typing. Very average stats for a legendary. Not great. Pretty outclassed. I'm not sure you can really do much with it. Kind of just sits there with decent defensive stats, but a terrible defensive typing. You aren't going to get very far with this Pokemon, so I'd recommend against using it. Azoth, I'm going to put in C tier. Quite good offensively. Pure Psychic isn't a terrible type. In this metagame, though, there are a lot of Dark types are running around, so you might want to run something to protect that. But other than that, it's okay. You're better off running something else. Decent offensive stats, decent speed, decent special attack. Better things you could be running, though. Celebi. Celebi is illegal. Mythical Pokemon. Illegal. Don't need to go over that. Although Celebi wouldn't be very good either. 100 in every stat's okay. But Cobalion. It's probably C tier. If this was any other format, probably B or A tier with Dynamax. You'd usually run a beat-up Mon into either of the Sword Trio, any of the Sword Trio really, it doesn't really matter. Where usually it would be Whimsicott with Tailwind, but because Dynamax is now not a thing, these things can just be focused down pretty easily and just killed. Cosmoem and Cosmog, this is obvious. This guy only gets Splash, and this guy gets Teleport and Splash, and Cosmic Power, which is... Well, this guy gets Teleport too, but this guy, the only decent move it gets is Cosmic Power, and what are you going to do with 0 recovery? You're better off running Eviolite on this thing, and even then, they sit around and do nothing. Like, they can't support other Pokemon, they only make themselves harder to kill. And this guy kind of just does nothing. Kind of useless. Cresselia. Cresselia's... I think Cresselia is quite underrated, actually. Quite hard to kill. Little bit like Suicune, where it's bulky, hard to kill. Good doubles partner, because it gets Icy Winds. Very, very tanky. But the problem is it's typing, Psychic. Psychic isn't a great typing at the moment, because of all the Dark types running around. I'd give it a solid B tier, because Dynamax isn't as much of a thing. This thing does get significantly harder to kill. But you're going to need to run a better team around Cresselia. I think it could work, but I think you're just better off running Suicune. Suicune's just got a much better typing for this format, except for Regieleki, which I will definitely go over, because it's definitely in this tier list. Oh god, there's a lot to go through. Darkrai's illegal. These guys are illegal. Or mythical. Yeah, not great. Dialga. Yeah, Dialga. B tier. Great typing. Decent defensive stats, but it's got what some VGC players consider all my friends are dead syndrome. It doesn't really do that much while it's out in the field. It's really just a tank. But other than that, great typing. Pretty decent Mon, I'd say. These two are illegal. A because it's a Mega, B because it's DNC. Entei. Entei, I'd say, is really underrated. I'd put Entei ahead of Dialga just because Dialga is a restricted mon. So, the thing with Entei, decent offensive stats, pretty good typing, and I believe it's pure fire. Yeah, it's pure fire. Pretty decent typing. It's weak to water, but water isn't the only problem you'd have with that is Kyogre. It does have a move. I forgot what it's called. I think it's Sacred Fire. That is a 50% chance to burn and like a really good accuracy of I think 95. Quite strong. Really good support mon, or you could run it offensively with a Choice Scarf. Underrated in my opinion. Very underexplored. This guy's illegal. Giratina. Both forms, kind of average. I don't see them a lot. It's probably for a good reason. They're quite tanky, but the typing isn't the best, especially because dark types, again, are running around a lot. Part Dragon, which is okay, but because of all the fairy types. There's not a lot of fairy types, but it's okay. I wouldn't run it. Primal Groudon's illegal, but regular Groudon, I'm going to put an A tier. Best Sunsetter in the game by far. Torkoal's still pretty good because it doesn't take up a restricted slot. But if you're running a Sun team, Groudon is really good. Sun obviously negating partially negating its water weakness. And boosting up fire type moves. This guy does get Heat Crash, which is really good because Groudon is extremely heavy. Although it doesn't get stab fire moves, which is kind of disappointing. I think that's what's holding it back. If you gave it stab fire moves, it would be so much better. But it would also be 4 times weak to water, so do it as you will. Heatran. Like Cresselia, it used to be probably S tier, like they were really strong, but I think it's definitely tanked a bit. I'm gonna for top of C tier. I haven't seen this Pokemon a lot anymore. Ground type moves really screw up this Pokemon, and Landorus is running around a lot with Earthquake. Kind of scary if you're running a Heatran. I think it also gets outsped by Landorus too. So you don't really want to run into this. You don't want to really use this Pokemon too often. Other than that, really, really good Pokemon. Its only problem is its typing. It's holding it back. Having a steel typing is amazing though. 4 times resisting fairy and grass is great, but you're also weak to water in return. Kind of a problem. Ho-Oh. Better Charizard. High C tier. I'd rather not use a restricted spot on Ho-Oh. It's literally just tanky, slightly better Charizard. It's got great moves, good damage, but it's not quite fast enough for a restricted mon if you're running a speedy restricted mon and not slow enough for a trick room mon. It's my main problem with it. Its typing's okay. Being 4 times weak to rock hurts, especially with Landorus running Rock Slide. But yeah, it's alright. These guys are illegal, and I hate these guys too. They're freaking stupid Pokemon. Jirachi's illegal, thank God. Swinggrace Iron Head would be really annoying. Both Keldeo forms are illegal. This is illegal, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put this straight in broken. Kyogre, you almost didn't want to Dynamax Kyogre because it got Water Spout, which was a spread move, base 150 power with the rain. And the only thing that put you at a disadvantage was the other Pokemon Dynamaxing and living a max power Water Spout from a Kyogre. If they resisted it, because it did so much freaking damage. It's got Stab Water Spout, unlike Groudon, which is kind of unfortunate. It doesn't get Stab fire moves. And Eruption doesn't work on Groudon very well, because its a special attack stat isn't quite as good as its normal attack stat. But yeah, Kyogre's special bulk is crazy. I don't know if it can live Regieleki's Thunderbolt very well, but put this... Don't mind the sounds in the background. Someone's just in pain. I tell them I'm recording, man. You know, put this next to a Tailwind Setter in your set. This thing is scary. If you lead the wrong Pokemon, this thing just takes over and destroys you. Like, put a Scarf or Specs on this and you're just done. This thing outspeeds and kills everything. Yeah, this needs to be fixed. It's so OP in this format. Kyurem Black, terrible typing. First off, Dragon Ice is not a great typing. I'd even rate Zekrom above this, honestly. It's so bad. Great stats, but terrible typing. I think I'm gonna... Yeah, you go here. It's not that the stats are bad. It can do a lot of damage. It's not slow. It's not that fast either. It's a bit like Ho-Oh. Actually, how fast is Ho-Oh? I've got to look at that. Yeah, I'm using Pokemon Database. So what? Yeah, Ho-Oh's not very fast. Really good special defense, decent special attack. It's actually a physical attacker. I'm stupid. Regenerate is not a bad ability. But yeah, its weaknesses are crippling. Like water, electric, and rock. This is common. This is a common coverage move, and Regieleki is quite bulky specially, but Kyogre eats this thing, Regieleki eats this thing. Unless you got Sun, but then still Regieleki eats this thing. It's not great. But yeah, this thing suffers a little bit. I don't know how fast it is. Wow, I can't type. I don't know how fast it is. I know regular Kyurem was in Ubers and singles, which meant it wasn't, not Ubers, OU, which meant it wasn't quite powerful enough for singles, but then it got banned, so... I think both Black and White have, 95 speed. Not great, very slow in comparison, but insane attacking stats. Really good HP stat. Decent defenses. Yeah, no, this is I put it above. Put it above Heatran. It's okay. Terrible typing though. Like, turns to Rock, Dragon, Steel, Fairy, and Fighting. It's not a great typing. There's a few common weaknesses in there. Kyurem White. Would I put this above or below? Below. I'm going to put it below just because this one gets access to good electric coverage against Kyogre. Whereas this one doesn't. It gets fire coverage, which is okay in some teams. But you don't get stab fire moves, which Reshiram and Zekrom both get. So, yeah, this is straight up garbage. I wouldn't use this. Not great. I wouldn't waste your restricted slot on a Pokemon with this low of a base stat total compared to most 680s. Like, decent special attack, decent attack, but it's all wasted. Like, you're only going to use one of these stats. It's just wasted. Like, okay bulk, okay speed, terrible ability. Like, these guys have pretty good abilities. They ignore, like, sturdy and stuff, which can be good, but you rarely see it. This is just a terrible ability. That's why the new ability capsuled Dog Trio were really good, because you could get their hidden abilities. Alright. Landorus. I'm going to put them both in S tier. Recently, Incarnate form has slightly overtaken Therian because Dynamax is out, and Landorus Incarnate has just become significantly better because of it. But Landorus is still great. It still gets Intimidate. Like, Intimidate's so good. I've seen a few more Landorus Incarnates around, though. You get Sand Force and Sheer Force. I don't know why you'd run this over Therian, though. Like, Therian... I guess Therian's slower. There is that, but it hits like a truck. And it has Intimidate. But this does have Sheer Force. I guess that's a reason to run it. Like, Rock Slide Sheer Force Landorus would probably hit really hard. And 101 speed, you're outspeeding the 100 speed tier if you run Timid on this, so... I wouldn't complain. Pretty good Pokemon. Only reason I'm running it above... I'm gonna put... I think Intimidate's just stronger. Intimidate's so much stronger. You see it on Incineroar all the time. Really OP. This is illegal. Mega. Can't be used. Latias. Solid B tier mod, I'd say. Like, really solid. Decent natural bulk. Nice offensive stats. Okay typing. It's not great. But it's got good special bulk. It pretty much walls Kyogre. Actually, this thing's decent. This thing walls Kyogre. Same with Latios, actually. They're both pretty okay. Latios is better offensive stats, but worse defensive stats. I'd put this here. In front of Cresselia. Why not? These both wall Kyogre. Kyogre can't do much about these guys. And they're non-restricted. I might consider running a Latias in my team eventually. Really good. Lugia has great stats, but it's restricted, so it's not great. Lugia has All My Friends Are Dead syndrome. It sits there and does absolutely nothing. It's kind of disappointing. I wish Lugia was better, but in a format like this, even Regieleki just screws this thing up. It's kind of sad. Fake out and then just Thunderbolt and it just messes it up. Lunala. I haven't seen a lot of this, actually. And I'm going to be honest, it isn't very strong either. Quite decently bulky. I think it's slightly better than Azelf, I'd say. Decent bulk, decent attack stats. It's got a nice signature move. I'm good with putting it in C tier. Haven't come across a lot of broken moms yet. You are illegal, and I'm glad you are illegal. This thing would be annoying. You're illegal. You're illegal. Melmetal's illegal. Meloetta, both of these are illegal. Meltan is useless and illegal. Mesprit. Mesprit is garbage. Mesprit's actual garbage. Yeah, not great. Azelf is literally just better in every way. Let's actually look at the stats of these two. So, if I remember, Azelf actually has like a decent... Oh, yeah, points are wasted in his attack stat. But you could run a surprise physical set on this thing. Could come in handy. Levitate's okay. Run it next to a Landorus with Earthquake and it can be pretty strong. Mesprit. Let's look at this Pokemon stats. Yeah, no. Why? Oh, that's... Looking at this just hurt me. No, this is terrible. Like, you got no offensive capabilities. You've got okay defenses. Like, 105 is actually not bad. But 80 HP, like, you either go one way or the other. You either go Uxie or Azelf, because Uxie's got insane defensive stats. Like, that's crazy. It's got less HP than Mesprit, but, like, that's insane. And it's faster than Mesprit, so just, yeah, no. I wouldn't even run Uxie. Uxie's garbage. Mew's illegal. These are illegal. Mewtwo, I used to think Mewtwo was probably low B, high C. Now I think Mewtwo is actually, like, middle of... Oh, I wouldn't dare put it above the laddies. High B. Definitely high B. Because Mewtwo's not restricted anymore, and Mewtwo has great stats. Like, with all the dark types running around, yeah, it's pretty scary, but you can get Aura Sphere on this thing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's not a special attack stat to mess with. Stab, Psychic moves will mess these things up. Again, terrible abilities, both of them. They're both horrible. Great speed tier. Like, really good speed tier. Really good special attack stat. Decent bulk. Like, 106 is nothing to scoff at. An okay attack stat if you were to run. Physical Mewtwo, which I don't know why you would unless you're running Mega Mewtwo X. But you almost always run Mega Mewtwo Y. It's just... I forgot it had these terrible abilities. My god, Mewtwo's got bad abilities. Yeah, B tier. I think it sits there, just because of its typing. Moltres. It's got an okay ability on Flame Body. I'm gonna put it low C. It's better than this thing. It's like worse Ho-Oh, except with an okay ability and Flame Body, you can run a surprise bulk set, and if any physical attackers try to mess you up, you can burn them. But this won't usually hit you with a contact move either, so it's not great. It's got a decent niche in some teams, though. Yeah, it's either high D tier or low C. I'm questioning whether to put this up or not, but I'm going to leave it here. Necrozma. Dawn Wings. I've never seen how this performs. I'm going to be honest. I've never seen how this performs in competitive. I'm actually going to add it here. Never seen used. I'm going to put you in here. I've never seen this on a team before. Ever. It probably isn't good if I haven't seen it on a team, but yeah, I've never seen it on a team. It's, yeah. Duskmane. This Pokemon was really good in Dynamax. You ran in a Trick Room team with Bulldoze, and used to Bulldoze into it and activate its weakness policy, and it swept. It was real. I'd say it was probably A tier. Now, probably better than Dialga. I think you can go here. I think this is a good spot for it. Obviously it's not great into some of the meta right now, but I believe it can be good. I wouldn't put it against it. This one's illegal. You don't exist, as far as I know. You're probably garbage. Never seen you used, but I tended to just put it in here, but you're at least better than Giratina. Yeah, but it's not very good. Terrible stats. I'm not even sure it's legal. I think it's legal, because the other Necrozma forms are. But yeah, it's slow. It's got a terrible base stat total for, I believe, a restricted. Special attack is decent, but the typing's okay. It's pure psychic. Yeah, nah. It's garbage. I'm tempted to put it in D tier. Yeah, it's a restricted. It's D tier. It's definitely D tier. Okay, this is something we've been waiting to talk about. This recently won a large Pokemon tournament and wasn't usually considered good, but Water Dragon is actually an insane typing. You're only weak to Dragon and Fairy, I believe. Dragon being fairly common. Same with Fairy, but you also get rid of quite a few of your weaknesses as a water type, and you're not weak to Regieleki anymore. I'd put this behind Groudon, I think. Sit it in the A tier. Pretty good defensive typing, pretty good stats, because obviously it's a box art. You can argue against this, but I think it's pretty good. I think it's better than Dialga. Palkia I think is really good. You suck, and you're also illegal. You were experimented with. Raikou was experimented with quite a bit when it came out in the Crown Tundra. It was okay. It wasn't great. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put you here. Good speed, good special attack, but quite frail. You ran well in electric terrain teams, but that's about it. Rayquaza, you're illegal. Rayquaza sucks. I'm going to be honest. This Pokemon sucks. It's not fast. it doesn't hit hard enough. Its typing's okay. Yeah. Okay. You wouldn't want to run it as you're restricted. Like, Kyogre and Groudon are just so much better. You almost don't want to run this ever. Regice. Regice is trash. Pure Ice is a terrible typing. It doesn't do much. Bottom of C tier. It's at least better than this thing. I'd rather run Regice over that. Gigas. Okay, this Pokemon I still think has the capabilities to be scary, but Dynamax isn't a thing anymore, so you can't run Max Strike with 150 base power, which is kind of sad. Top of B tier. I still think it has potential next to Weezing, but it's obviously not as good. It hits like a truck, and it isn't a restricted, which I think helps it. A lot of people speculated it wasn't going to be good because it was really niche next to Weezing, but Weezing's actually really tanky. So I think it has potential. Regirock. Regirock was getting kind of scary in the previous Dynamax formats next to Comfey with Giga Drain, Weakness Policy. It hit like a truck. It was really hard to stop. But pure rock typing is kind of meh. I at least think it's better than Giratina. Like, it's not great anymore, but with Weakness Policy, it was pretty good. Really good base 200 defense, though. And most things that threaten this are fighting type moves. I guess water threatens it. Yeah, water kind of sucks into this. It kind of just dies. Yes, typing is not very good. Pure rock sucks. Registeel. I'm gonna... all the Regis are getting placed pretty freaking... I'm gonna put this above them, actually. They're all bad. I would not use a single one of these in my competitive team. Like, this does nothing except have a good typing. That's all it does. This had a niche, and this is just garbage. Like, I'm almost... The only thing keeping this from not being below this guy is because this guy isn't a restricted one. You're not wasting your restricted spot on garbage. If this was restricted, this would go straight in here. Like, this is horrible. Any of these are terrible. But you're not wasting a restricted spot, so I guess they're not terrible. Reshiram. I think Reshiram is better than the Curums, and you can't change my mind there. Better typing, honestly. Fire Dragon, better typing. I'm going to put this ahead of Mewtwo, I think. Ahead of the Laddies. Would I put it above Gigas? Yeah, top of B tier. Same with Zekrom. Where's Zekrom? Where are you, buddy? What is this? Is this supposed to be Zekrom? No, this is Zekrom. Okay. Yeah, Electric Dragon. Not an amazing typing. But you do resist Aleki better, and you... I'm almost tempted to put it in A tier. It could be pretty good. You resist Kyogre really well. And you destroy Kyogre. This is a good Kyogre counter. Especially with Scarf. This thing beats Kyogre with Scarf, that's right. I'm tempted to put this bottom of A tier, actually. It has potential, but it's unexplored because there are so much better Pokemon you could choose. It's still okay, though. I reckon you could run it really well. Like, with a Choice Scarf, nah, it's B tier. Yeah. Good Kyogre counter, but I think you'd rather run Regieleki next to Kyogre. Or into Kyogre, because you don't want to use a restricted spot on Zekrom or Reshiram. They're okay. They've got really good stats, but they're not the best. I don't know what you are, but you're straight up just non-existent. I don't know what you are. Silvally. I'm not sure whether this is illegal or not, but I haven't seen it ever been used. Okay, Suicune. Suicune's straight up S tier. Suicune's so OP right now. Tailwind is really good. You can't flinch this, mind you, with a hidden ability. It cannot be flinched. Really strong ability. One of my favourite Pokemon of all time. Do I think it's broken? No, because I think Whimsicott exists, and it gets priority Tailwind. It still can be flinched, though. This thing can't. Run it next to something with, I think it's a Romavale or something. It's a hidden ability of Valcremie. And you can't be stopped. You can't be taunted, you can't be flinched. The only thing that can stop you is you being destroyed that turn. And with your kind of bulk, you're most likely going to have to be doubled into, or Regieleki's going to have to not spend a turn using its Electro Web and Thunderbolting you, just straight up Thunderbolting you instead of Electro Webbing you. And if it does Electro Web you, you're still getting a +1 in speed. In which I still think Regieleki outspeeds you and then takes you back to speed. This thing here just counters it directly, but it's still really good. If there's no Regieleki, you're still set. This thing is dangerous. It's a force to be reckoned with. Next to Kyogre, it's scary. Like, you get rain boosted Scalds, they can add up. The damage can add up. Oh, Tapu Bulu, poor thing. Got done dirty. He got done dirty. I think he's here. He hits hard, but sets up terrain, which is great for terrain control, but Rillaboom's just better. Rillaboom gets Fake Out, Grassy Glide. This thing got nothing. This thing got absolutely nothing. Got done dirty. Tapu Fini. This, at the start of it coming out, went from here all the way to probably down here. Yeah. Oh, you're still better than Cresselia. Very bulky, really good typing. Not weak to steel as a fairy type is amazing. Good fairy stab. You're above Mewtwo. What am I saying? Still not great though anymore. It just sits there basically. A lot of the restricted mons freaking decimate it. It's kind of fell off. Tapu Koko's had a rise. I think Tapu Koko is like top of B tier. Like setting up electric terrain, having really good like stats. I think this has potential as an electric terrain setter, and as a good Kyogre counter, like really good. If you run physical Tapu, which some people are running now, you can pretty much just destroy Kyogre. Really good Pokemon. Tapu Lele. I haven't seen enough of it to rank it correctly. I think it's probably just better Mewtwo because it sets up terrain. That's it. It's not anything special. Psychic Fairy's not the worst typing. It's okay. Terrakian's probably the best of the Sword Trio at the moment, even though the Dynamax got removed. It's got really good speed and attack. Bottom of B tier, I think. I think it's way better than Cobalion. Like, it's got an okay typing, but it's way better than Cobalion. I have never seen this guy used ever. Thundurus. Thundurus is annoying. Just for that, he goes A tier. He's really annoying. Prankster's stupid. Stupid ability. Which one of you get priority Tailwind? Tornadus, that's his name. One of you guys get priority Tailwinds. Yeah, it's Incarnate. Yeah, this guy gets Regenerator. That's weird. Very poor defenses for a Regenerator. Can rotate really well, though. Define and Prankster. Yeah, this guy's annoying. Priority Tailwind from something that's like this offensive is annoying. You're going straight above. I think you're top of A tier. Like, all the genies are so good. You can't go wrong with them. You are garbage. You are actual trash. Yeah, I wouldn't use this. Regenerator is okay, but this thing isn't bulky enough to use it. Horror, on the other hand, I'm probably going to move up. I think Horror can be used correctly with Regenerator. I don't know. Type Null. Never seen it being used. I think Silvally probably better, but never seen it being used. Uxie. Garbage. Better than Mesprit, but still garbage. Can be used as a decent support mon. I'd say you're here. Really good defensive stats. It can be a screen setter. It's quite bulky, but it doesn't really do much. And Psychic as a type is not great at the moment, because again, of all the dark types, Incineroar will roll this thing in a couple turns. Victine's illegal, and that's good, because V-Create would be scary. Virizian's trash, unfortunately. 4 times a week to... Oh, actually, no. Max Estrogen's not a thing anymore, because Dynamax. But Tornadus does exist. I don't see it being used, though. Decent special defense. I'm going to put it behind Cavalion, though. I just think physical defense is way more valuable, and it's got a better typing. Steel fighting's not bad. You're illegal. Now, if you asked me before the non-Dynamax format, I'd put Xerneas in B tier. Just because of a certain sword dog that one-shot this no matter what, unless you had Babbery Berry, which in then return, you couldn't run the necessary power herb to run Xerneas correctly. But Xerneas has been on the rise lately. I'm going to put it top of A tier. It's actually quite hard to stop a Xerneas setting up now, because you can get so much fake out support and everything. You can't Dynamax something to avoid the fake out. It's just, yeah. This thing's quite unstoppable now. As soon as you pivot in the correct mon, it's hard to get Zacian to attack this thing and destroy it. And then Zacian just dies afterwards. The Yveltal. Yveltal used to be really good, actually. It's fallen off, though, definitely, after Xerneas started rising. Zacian's a thing. Kind of scary. I'm going to put it here. Yeah, I don't think it's as good as the Laddies anymore. I would probably, a few series ago, put in Nest here. Like, really hard to kill. But it's definitely dropped off. You're illegal. I think you're garbage. I haven't seen enough of you, but you're... Zapdos is really good. Never been a bad mon. Better than Groudon, definitely. I don't see enough Groudon. Your Zapdos is really strong, hard to kill, good typing. Zeraora is illegal. This form of Zygarde is garbage. I'd never run this. I'd never run this. Better than Mesprit. This is illegal to have as a starting form, but you are underrated. I can say that for free. You're definitely underrated. This thing's scary. If you hit this thing with the wrong attack, it'll turn into this big scary dude, and then it'll be impossible to kill. Like, running next to a Comfey, it's so difficult to kill. Again, Dynamax kind of hurt it a bit. Like, it not having Dynamax kind of killed it. But that HP stat... If you can heal that back up to full health, like that's a terrible attack stat. I'm gonna be honest, it's not great. Its offensive stats aren't great, but its defense is good. Sorry, its offensive stats aren't great. Really good defense, okay special defense, decent speed tier. Like, it's not great. It's obviously not fast by any stretch of the imagination, but 216 HP. That is, in Dynamax, that was terrifying. Like, you couldn't kill that. Yeah, this is a no-brainer. And since Dynamax doesn't exist anymore, this just becomes scarier, because there's no Dynamax Pokemon in the way. Again, Behemoth Blade didn't get affected by Dynamax. It did double damage to any Dynamax Pokemon, which basically negated the fact that it was Dynamax, which was broken in the first place. But, yeah, no, this is probably the strongest Pokemon in the game. Like, +1 attack upon entering. Really good speed tier, really good attack stat. Insanely good type. Like, this thing is busted. I can't say the same for its buddy. This Pokemon's garbage. Zamazenta's not great. C tier at best. Probably not D tier. Great defenses, but it kind of just... Yeah, you can't give it a held item, and it's only got base 130 attack. Like, it's decent attack, but it's nothing special. And you can't give it an item. Never seen this at all. But then again, you wouldn't use these. These are bad. I'm going to straight up just chuck these both in D tier. Like, they're better than Mesprit. Articuno, this thing is garbage. I hate this thing. This thing's trash. Mesprit too. This thing's garbage. It's got its own tier. I hate this thing. I don't like the design. I don't like the stat. I'd never use this. You're illegal and thankfully so high spaced out of any Pokemon. This would be unkillable. Eternatus. I've never seen it. Never seen it being used. And I think it would probably play C tier because there's probably a reason it's never used. It's not great. You're garbage. You're trash. I would never use you. Terrible stats for a restricted. I think it's restricted. Also, never use this thing. Self-explanatory. You'd want to evolve it into one of these two. This is Rapid Strike. Rapid Strike is better than Single Strike at the moment. I don't know why Regieleki destroys this thing, but it does resist Kyogre. Kyogre, I think, still one-shots it anyway, but still. You can run Special Bulk on these things, and they'll live a few hits. You're better than... Yeah, you're... This thing's better than Suicune. Yeah, they're really strong. And you're B tier. You're at least B tier. Fairy does obliterate this thing, though. You're better than the laddies, just because you have a Dark typing. Dark type Stab is really strong right now. The only reason Dark is really good is because it resists the Prankster. So this thing here won't mess you up. Thundurus won't mess you up with a Thunder Wave or anything. You're illegal, I'm pretty sure. And even if you weren't, you're garbage. You're trash. Experimented with it. Competitive is okay. This thing's garbage, though. Never use it. I've never seen it being used, and I don't want to, because it's not good. Zapdos, I think, is underrated. Galarian Zapdos. I mean, Galarian Articuno was garbage. Both forms of Articuno are trash, but the Galarian one's at least a bit better. Galarian Zapdos, I think, is underexplored. I'd give this a look. It's quite strong. Good attack stat, good speed stat. With a Scarf, I think it's dangerous. Okay, this is the best of the three by far. Really good bulk. I'd put you above Zapdos, not above Xerneas. Insanely good bulk, like really good bulk. A great ability, and like a really good typing, because it's got Dark. This thing's hard to stop if it gets going. I think I'd put it in here, actually, above Lando. Not above Suicune at the moment. Suicune's too strong. Yeah, this thing's really good. I would be scared if I ever saw this thing. Regidrago. Underexplored Pokemon, definitely. It can be scary. Specs or Scarf Dragon Energy is really good. The only problem is Fairy completely, like, negates it. That's my only problem with this mon. I put you here. I think Regidrago is underexplored. I'd give this Pokemon a look. I don't have to explain it. I literally don't have to explain why this Pokemon's up here. 200 base speed. 200 base speed. Not even this guy. The fastest Pokemon in the game for so many years, since Gen 3. I think it's Gen 3. Yeah, Gen 3. And this thing just exists. A bouncy ball of electricity has a higher speed stat than, like, a genetically modified freaking mutated Pokemon. I don't even know what Deoxys is anymore, but, like, this thing is busted. All three of these can be interchangeable, by the way. Like, this could be here and this could be there. Like, it doesn't matter. These Pokemon are just... They're just so strong. These... Dynamax is obviously illegal. This is illegal. Dynamax is illegal. Glastrier. I haven't seen a lot of Glastrier lately, but when it was a thing, this was definitely high A tier. But I think it's dropped. Pure Ice is a terrible typing, and it kind of showed. I'd still put it above Yveltal. I think it's got potential in Trick Room. Definitely threatening if you ever see one, if it's built correctly. Spectria. Spectria is at least better than Glastrier. I guess Dark types. Sucker Punch would really mess this thing up. Yeah, no, I think it's worse than... these guys, actually. Yeah. No, Sucker Punch will mess this thing up. Like, Sucker Punch for most Pokemon will one-shot this. Like, any priority will screw this thing up. But it's a good Bulldoze mon. Yeah, no, those defenses are terrible. Like, Sucker Punch will screw this thing up. good at special attack and speed, though. If your opponent doesn't have anything to stop you, you can definitely reverse sweep with it. But I wouldn't bet on it. I don't have to talk about these two Pokemon. They're really good. 2 abilities is quite strong, even though Unnerve is garbage. Its second ability is really good, though. I'd put this above Groudon, definitely. This is the worst of the two. Because it gains speed, even though you'd run it in Trick Room, it gains speed. I'd say Glastrier is probably... I'd use Glastrier over this, but it's not as good as Glastrier. I think Ice Ride is definitely better. Like, it's still got 50 speed. Glastrier is definitely slower, but it's still got 50 speed. Huge defense and attack, and huge special defense. This thing is so hard to kill. Again, terrible typing, though. Like, absolute garbongo typing. Like, the typing balances this. This thing would be broken if it didn't have its typing. Shadow Rider. What can I say? 2 4x weaknesses. But, like, it's got okay bulk. Like, it's still easy to kill, but not as easy to kill. This thing's faster than Zacian. And still hits like a truck. And you can put, like, Specs or Scarf on this and make it even faster. I never realized how freaking broken this Pokemon is. I don't think... I think it's probably on the same tier as Zacian. Oh, I clicked on an ad. No. Yeah, this thing's broken. This thing. It's got a spread move. Hits like a truck with Specs next to Tailwind. This thing would nuke your entire team and you couldn't do anything about it. I guess a normal type could stop it, but what good normal types are running around at the moment? We need more of them. Anyway. This is my legendary tier list. Took a bit longer than I expected. 47 odd minutes. But yeah, this is the tier list. I hope you agree with this. This Pokemon sucks. Like, my god. Garbage mon. But yeah, no. Sorry to all you Mesprit fans, but I hate Mesprit. Least favorite of the 3. This is a fair tier list. Most of the Pokemon down here are because they're restricted. And then there's I'm going to move Articuno up just because it's not restricted. But yeah, most of the Pokemon down here are restricted. I'd never run these because they're restricted. They're just better restricted ones you can run. Like, these 3. This guy isn't even restricted. He's that good. You know what? Regieleki can be at the top. I think Regieleki's really strong just because it's not restricted. But yeah, this is a tier list. I'd say it's pretty fair. It's not completely in line with a bunch of pro players. I'm not professional, obviously. I've played a bit of competitive, though. And I think I know what I'm talking about. Like, this seems fair. Most Pokemon in B tier I still wouldn't use. Like, you'd mainly only use Pokemon A tier and up. B tier's... Okay. You almost want to use these Pokemon all the time. These ones are really strong. You should consider them. These ones can fit into a lot of teams. They're quite strong. These ones have niches. Like, really strong niches. These ones, I just wouldn't use the average. Never use these. Like, they're bad. They have some form of niche that makes them usable, though. These are just straight garbage, and this is just Mesprit. Like... But yeah, that's the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe to help boost my videos in the YouTube algorithm. I'll try to get my camera working, and I'll catch you guys later.